6.8, we had already introduced the PPP, but it was not a final release as we discussed. Now we have a new high accuracy signal from both Galileo, mostly for whole world, and the Baidu for the some regions. So we can now that with this one, when we compare to S-bus signal, we have a better accuracy in pass-to-pass. The S-bus and the PPP has the more or less the same accuracy in online situation, but when we come to the pass-to-pass accuracy, PP is better and nearly under 10 centimeter. So depending on the weather conditions. So in this one, we will use together the Galileo PPP, and Donald, I think, tried many times this one. Donald, can you give us some clue? What are the issues now? Because we couldn't connect at the beginning, but I think we can now.
Yeah, so we're working PPP here on most systems that are out because RTK is so expensive here. It's €800 plus that per year. So PPP is a great solution for most of my customers that do want to have good accuracy but have to pay for it. At the moment, I can send videos at the moment. It looks very close to RTK accuracy pass on pass. Everybody so far is very happy with it. We've had a couple of issues in trying to get it to work on some of the systems. The last update, it doesn't seem to want to work very well on that compared to the one just before us. So we're sticking to that update for now. But everybody so far is very happy with it. I've got great videos, and there's more videos coming soon.
Sorry to interrupt you. The voice is a little bit interrupting. And you all may close your video, the cameras, to reduce the bandwidth, actually, because we will be all together and the bandwidth is, I think, a little bit low. That's why we cannot hear you well, Donald.
Oh, sorry, I might have a bad signal here. That will be part of my accent too.
All of us can close our cameras to reduce the bandwidth, actually. Then it might be good to speak on it. Yeah, could you please try one more time?
Me?
Yeah, there's some blurry voice, not a clear one. Okay, so at the beginning there were some problems with the Galileo. Now we have a good situation with the clear sky. And you all know where to connect. We will use the correction source. And in our system, you're going to press on the menu, device settings, and the correction source. Since my device has the L1 board, you need to have an L3 board to see these S-bus and the PPP signal. If you have that one, or your customers, clients, you're going to see this direct signal. So actually, some of the countries very sensitive to the price of RTK, and the rough tasks may be done with the PPP, land preparation and spraying, spreading, such kind of task actually. Now the second one is the one we worked a lot actually. Now we call it super low speed function. With the help of this function, we can reach down to 0.1 kilometer per hour limit. Especially very useful for planting trees or the crops So if we would like to understand the limits under 1 kilometer per hour down to 0.1 kilometer per hour, we need to use super low speed mode. We have to activate or enable that function. So normally about 1 kilometer to 18, we call it normal mode. And more than 18 kilometer, now we have a high speed mode with the up to 26 kilometer per hour. But this is the one we are going still in beta release. So we will reach that speed. This is also important for sprayers, as you know. So I'm going to show you where it is. Again, under device settings, the automatically driver settings submenu has this super low speed. Okay. After the upgrading, you will find this function in this menu. When you turn it on, as you see, the accuracy compensation beta function opens itself. And vice versa, if you turn off this one, accuracy compensation, super low speed can automatically turn off too. So that means this should be open to use or get the benefit of super low speed. But if you open the accuracy compensation function by its own, on its own, then you are going to use it for the high speed mode, for the higher speeds, more than 18, 17 kilometers per hour to the 26 kilometers per hour. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes. Dinser, is that with the standard angle sensor?
Yes, actually, with this new version, we are free of sensor. This can be used for every sensor mode, either attitude or no sensor. No angle sensor, even we provide or support these modes too. That is also a great feature. Even no need to use angle sensor at the moment. Any question?
No.
Okay,
No.
perfect. So we have seen the second feature here, and we have shown on the terminal where it is, how to operate or activate. The next one is the dead band or dead zone or free zone, free space settings. Normally, you know that if the vehicle is a little bit old and not a good maintained one, the vehicle may have a free space on the steering system. So now, from this point on, we have a new field to compensate this free zone by means of angle under no angle sensor mode submenu and called control deadband. So you can directly write here as a degree of free movement of steering wheel. You have to measure from the left to the right, not middle to the right or middle to the left only. So the measurement is in degree. So the sum of left and right together should be entered in this field, okay?
Yeah.
So it will increase the accuracy by compensating this free space. Otherwise, they have to maintain their system or the vehicle either mechanically or hydraulically. So let me show you the place again. When we go to angle sensor calibration, if you choose no angle sensor, you're going to see this one here. And the definition or the explanation, again, given in this question mark icon.
So
No need to
when
remember
you're
something. Yes, Steven?
when you measure this, you pull the steering wheel to the left until the free stops, then go to the right and measure that from left to right. Is that okay?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Then,
Exactly.
sir, you
Yes.
said it's only with a no angle sensor. Do you mean that it's all automatically compensated when you use the attitude sensor?
Yeah, actually, from the logic, no need to, for this version, the attitude sensor automatically compensate itself.
Okay.
Since with the version, no angle sensor mode also will satisfy our users, farmers. So as I explained, no need to use angle sensor because of the calculation methodology. We have changed most of things, and all of a sudden, the accuracy is getting better and better immediately. So that means if you choose this one, no hesitation, the dead band issue is no longer valid here.
Because I have one on the self-propelled slurry applicator, and he is not reacting quite good because of the dead point in the middle. But he is using attitude sensor.
With
Is
the
it something?
final version, you mean?
Sorry?
With the spring version or the
No,
316 version?
the standard version.
Yeah, actually, we first should upgrade that one to this one, and you'll see the difference.
Okay, okay, clear.
You'll be happy.
I see also installation orientation. That means that we can put the sensor now upside down?
Yes, exactly. With this one, if you put the attitude sensor from this version on, you can switch or install the angle sensor upside down or downward position too.
Yeah, perfect. Cool.
Yeah. Good to hear such a reactions, actually. So all of you need some of the features actually for a long time. So now we can come to the next feature, tramline. You know, especially for plant protection, for sprayers, since their booms are so wide, they need exactly the specific rows with the other seeding rows, let's say, or the guidance lines. So here we have a very flexible feature now. We can set the tramline function depending our width of implement and giving the row number. We are going to check it together now. So even if it is set, either you can use the tramline for basic U-turn and or normal guidance line for the U-turn, basic U-turn. From left, actually, on the left-hand side, you see the tramline U-turn function. On the right-hand side, the blue rows or the guidance line is for normal guidance line U-turn function. Okay? So what it means, you need to be on either on a tramline or a normal guidance line to use basic U-turn function. So in other words, we can use only basic U-turn functions to turn automatically on tramline.
Can you go back for that point, please? How can turn automatically?
Okay. Actually, I'm going to show you on my desktop too. let me finish this one. Let me open this. First of all, how are we going to enable this one?
Right.
You can see normal guidance line here. Okay.
Yes.
Whenever you create a new line, guidance line,
Mhm.
there is a guidance line name. So you're going to find these lines on the field management here.
Mhm.
So the guidance line here, you see on the right-hand side,
Yeah, tablet. Okay.
there is a tramline function. If you activate or turn on this function, now this guidance line can be used for tramline or sprayers, okay? So there's another explanation here. For the blue line and the yellow line is different from each other. So if you choose the one, as you see, the blue one is normal guidance line, but the yellow one is the tram line. You can follow this one. So
All right, understood.
in order to activate or after activating the tramline function, you are going to see another icon on the right-hand side, just above the selection point, this one. You see, when we press on that, it says if we are going to use the current guidance line as a tram line, okay? But on the other hand, let me explain one more thing in the field management side. You need to decide what is the interval. 2, 3, normal guidance line, and then a tram line. The fourth one is every fourth line is a tram line, okay, here. When we go back to the screen again, so we are going to select this one, and we have the function. If this is not a tramline activated guidance line, you cannot see this icon here, okay? So here, if we choose yes or okay, then as you see, every fourth line has a different color, the yellow one.
That's great. Really good.
And
Very,
let
very
me
happy with it.
turn my steering here.
So if you were going to interpret that from, say, a 3-meter cedar,
Yes,
if you were on an 18-meter tram line, you would take every sixth one. as your-
exactly. Every sixth line is the tram line.
That's right. Yep.
Okay. Now I activated my steering wheel here, motor. Okay. Of course, first of all, we are going to use the basic U-turn. If we press the headland marking, the flag 1 here, and I would like to, of course, I need to stop the auto mode first. It goes forward. I want to use my basic U-turn on this. That's why I'm using or activating, enabling this one. And after that, I want to put the second flag or the other one. And let me turn, hoping that it's not so close to each other. The headland marking, I mean. Okay. So now I'm on a normal guidance line. As you see, the basic U-turn arrows appeared. So please, since I'm very close to the headlamp area, let me turn one more time. It deactivated itself because it's so close. All you remember, it's not easy to use the demo mode for this. So immediately I'm going to show you this one. A new drawing for the turning appeared here. But please be or watch carefully that the tractor will turn not to the tram line, not on the tram line, the next one. Okay, not the next row, but the second row. If there is a adjacent tram line available.
So you would need to have a double tramline headland for that to work.
Sorry?
You would need a double tramline headland for that to work.
So if we are on a, for instance, if we choose the tram line, of course, we are going to turn back because the field is so close to each other, the headlands, I mean. So just, I'm going to show you how to turn on a tram line here. And yes. And the tram line is now bold and saying that it turns within 20. As you see, the U-turn, the basic U-turn calculated the next tram line. So that means basically, or as a summary, we can use basic U-turn function for tram lines too. As Steven said, every fourth, fifth, or sixth line, depending on your seeder width and the sprayer width, when you select a guidance line of a normal one or a tram line, will define what the next turning row is. Is it clear for the default tramline function now?
Yeah.
Or do you have any questions here?
I have a question about the flags, Dinser.
Yes.
Was it already the field border? I thought in the past it was a line in the field.
Yeah, actually, this is the headland marking. For the purpose of this one, headland marking. So if you are in basic device, not an advanced one.
Oh, so okay, yeah.
So you can purchase separately the basic U-turn functionality as well. And with the help of these functions, you can set these two flags as a headland marks. Between the two marking, you can use basic U-turn too.
Yeah, okay, that's clear. Yeah.
Okay, if it is clear, I think we have a good new feature everybody has been waiting for. Now we will have it.
Good, good.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah. Now, another one. Actually, these features are the very trendy, or when we compare with the other brands, especially premium brands like Trimble, especially, everybody has been asking for the parallel guidance line to the border.
Mm.
So now in advanced mode only, because we need a border, you know, the border function is in advanced mode only. So now we have the headland guidance line in this new spring version, okay? In that way, we have two types of creating this one. Either we can create parallel to the all borders, or on the right, you can see we can choose any line or any one of the lines of the border. It really doesn't matter if it is straight or curved. So let me show you about a little bit vivid here. We are going to now activate the headland and diagonal harrowing under automatical deriving settings, the bottom here. So that means these functions can be visible or invisible if you set it on or off, depending on that. If we are talking about headland, as you see, if you would like to use all boundary line, it creates the given number of headland lines, or partially you can select one of the boundary line and it creates parallel to that. So if you set it on, like diagonal harrowing, when you open these functions, features, you are going to see two new icons under the guidance line. So this is the headland. When we press on that, the system asks us a boundary importation, okay? Then, of course, it was somewhere else. Then it creates the guidance line, boundary lines inside that. In order to that, it's showing us the type as it was here. Either we can choose the sides of boundaries or use the whole boundary. And the headland number is the number we would like to create. Most of time, I think, or at most 3, depending on the country again. So there are another one, the reserved safety distance. There was such a feature. Now it's more visual what it is. The red flashing area is the reserved safety distance. So you can set it 0, 5 meter, 10 meter, 1 meter, depends on you. But the range is between 0 and 10. So if we choose this one, and it will ask us which part of the boundary will be chosen. Either we can go back or select reverse, because it's not a good drawing now. But at that moment, the parallel headland, according to that chosen side. If we choose it, it says reselect. How is that?
Okay.
How's your comment on this new function?
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
it's
it.
It's great, and it's exactly what our farmers want, so that's fantastic. Just one question to be clear for me. When you take the boundary, it means it's a boundary that you have created in the first place, right?
Yes, actually you cannot see it because it's in demo. It's always moving somewhere else.
Right.
It was in the past. It's not seen.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, visually I cannot show you because it's not a real, I'm not standing still, my tractor is moving around.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So actually the next one is a little bit similar to that function, or adjacent one is this one called diagonal harrowing. I think the land preparation needs to use this one. So let's go back to the explanation page again under this one, because we activated, it is on now. That's why it is seen or visible. With this function, we have 3 different scenarios here, depending on the size of field. Okay, so the system gives us the opportunity to select between these turning points, either if it is a long but a shallow one, or narrow and long, then we choose this one, or it's a little bit bigger one, we can choose this one, or if it's something like a square, there is no turning point, it says this 0. So when you choose this one again within a border, you have the diagonal lines. So you can turn it automatically again with this function. So it's not actually given in our diagonal harrowing function, is not given. Evelyn, if you can take a note, we can add it to our web page. Okay, so if we close all these, including pivot mode, if you don't use, no need to mess around, then, sorry, oops, here, as you see, there is no pivot, no diagonal harrowing, or the headland guidance line icon. So in order to use it, you need to activate it. I think it's clear.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
If you don't have any questions, I'm going to go to the final one. It's the isobus. So actually, for the time being, with this version, we have released the UT or VT function. So that means actually, if your implement has comparably old one, no need to use their own specific screens. They can use our shared screen. Okay, so let me introduce this one from our, under the application menu, we have the isobus. So when we activate this, first of all, we need to open or enable the performance mode, because there are too many data transmission between implement ECUs and our screen. So we have basically 2 functions here at the moment. The VT function is now available, and TC function needs advanced mode. But this is subjected to the sales. They are going to discuss how are we going to release this one. Okay, when we open or enabled all of these functions, we are going to see another icon on the left-hand side under basic U-turn icon. And when we press on isobus icon here, we see that there is a task controller section on the bottom and the virtual terminal on the top right part. So when you press the zoom in, zoom out, the green and black arrows areas, the one is enlarges, the other one shrinks. Okay. So this is the one when we connect a isobus implement here, our screen divides into two or split into two. And the left-hand side, we have the, for instance, instead we can use such a screen and record a manual. On the right-hand side, we have the virtual terminal or universal terminal. Depending on the implement features, there will be a loading time. The first time loading of the ECU of implement may take may take longer time, but after that, the connection time is a little bit comparably less. So we call it object pool area. So every function of the implement will be shown here, but at the moment, the Android side, the communication is not the true one. That's why we have to upgrade not only the software, we have to upgrade the firmware side as well. We are going to introduce, or we are going to guide you to during the upgrading. So just keep in mind that the firmware is also important at the moment with this version, if we are going to use a isobus functions. I'm not going into details of the VT, but just a brief information about the section control or rate control under TC function. As you see, the section control is the automatic switching on and off the valves. And the rate control depends on the geographical location, actually. And of course, the section also use that one. So on the right-hand side, as you see, there are materials on channels, and you can increase or decrease manually as well. Even there will be second implement for that. And also this function can be used in manual or automatic. So you can lock it not to change something, or you can open it. Actually, this is a standard. Just to show how to show it is a little bit different. Okay, what are your experiences about isobus? What have you done so far, actually? We have some ECU connection, not a problem. At the moment, we are discussing about the TC function mostly. Do you have any experience? Mike, you have tried that, if you are here still?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
So, yes, we tried several things. One was a 12-row sugar beet seeder. The second one was a Amazonas spreader. And one customer is also using a Queneland spreader. The installation was easy and works fine, but we had some problems with the loading the ECU the first time. It takes a little bit longer as expected. Yes, we will see how it works. It's too early to say hard facts, but it's upcoming in the next weeks.
Yeah, okay. You have been dealing a lot on that. And also I know from here, the Kevin also tried.
Yeah.
In one cases, I think.
Yeah, we tried the TC version on Queneland spreader. Worked fine, except the UT was not very stable. Since
so
then,
that's why it's
no
in
problem.
the beta. We are going to release with the final version for that. official one, I mean. So as you know, we distributed or delivered the hardware for the isobus connectivity. And now the sales team are going to distribute or deliver the second part or the batch. And I think the Peranen already ordered. Anyone not ordered yet? Any isobus hardware? Harness?
Not
If
yet.
you
Next
don't,
time.
No, not yet.
okay. If you don't, you may connect from the sales team with Evelyn, for instance, just to be ready before the demand, first demand. You can add it. I think it's so cheap product. So
This-
here,
this- We have a AEF certification of need of not or not.
yes, actually, as you know, the sister company has already registered for the UT at the end of the last year, and the last week they have already finished the TC function. Okay. Now, as a Sveaverken brand, we are going to start with the AEF certification. But basically, we have this isobus functionality has already been approved, and we have started to use it.
Yep, that's okay.
So, for the new ones, or mostly demanding features are those. But on the other hand, we have many more improvements, especially for the visualization and the optimization issues. Here, maybe you are going to use this one also. Under menu and diagnostic center, we can see the GNSS tracking map here. If you have the L3 board, I mean the S-Bus PPP, you have another direct satellite signal. You can easily see how many numbers of satellites are available, used and not used on the left-right side. There are also QZSS and IRNSS we are not using actually most of the time. Yes, there is one missing part is the S-Bus augmented direct signal for S-Bus and PPP here. So we have this print, but sorry, under that you can see a list. There are many sub information, not only the one chart. Later in the real data, you are going to see what it is, and you'll have the chance to compare within time, actually.
Dangerous, sorry to interrupt. For the Galileo PPP that you described at the beginning, so it's a new source of correction that is free, if I understood well. Is there anything we need to connect on our screen to get to it?
No, nothing. I cannot show you here, but it's a piece of cake. Just you're going to just select the Galileo. That's it. It is something like this one. When you go to correction source here, I'm going to show you like an RTK. You see?
Yeah.
Pressed, you'll see the Galileo PPP here. That's it.
And it will not be under RTK. It will be under.
Yeah, of course, there will be another direct. Yes, S-Bus and PPP together. Yes.
Okay, understood.
It will be like that actually. You see here.
Oh yeah, there we go. Excellent.
It will be like this. And on the other hand, as you see, diagnostic center has been transferred to the left menu here. And we have called common SOAP, but it's a troubleshooting manual. Up to that moment, we have been sharing the details when you have some problem. All the FAs have been filled this up, and now you and the end user may directly find if there is something wrong in their systems. If it is rated with SIM card detection, how to follow up the procedure, what could be the reason, and if there is something wrong with the satellite signal. So directly, this documentation updates itself when you press on it if there is something new. Okay, so it's a good thing to solve the problems at first hand.
And I think, Dinger, you showed us there is a way to see how far we are from a base station. For
Yes,
the
yes.
centipede in France, for example.
Yes, here in the diagnostic center, actually, we have 4 tops. Actually, at the beginning or previous version need to be 315 old UI, need to be pressed to menu and search the relevant field, trying to find something useful, and even there were no such a huge information on that. So now we have many more new things, like we can see everything in one place about the system. What are the scenario here? As Philip asked, baseline distance can be seen here. Even it's not the RTK status anymore. This is called GNSS status. If it is a network RTK entry connection and the status is 4, because S-Bus has a different status numbers, and especially age of differential and the baseline distance is the one you have to care about. Sometimes it's very rare, but it may happen. The system may try to connect to a far point, more than 30, 40 kilometers away. So that means if the distance is far, then the accuracy will increase. So we have to check it instead of trying to understand something, what is wrong. We can directly check this part, Philip.
Right. Okay. And the other day, I had a customer that is coming from a very flat area and is using his tractor with a scraper in order to level the ground. And he was asking me, like John Deere, if we could capture the elevation data and if it was accurate. And I see here you have elevation. Is that usable in any way or not?
Well, actually, we don't have the product, but we know it. Land leveler needs a third dimension as a height. And here we cannot use it because the idea in that one, it was my first project actually in the company, and we tried it. So, in the market, mostly there are laser levelers. So now with the GPS levelers, maybe we will have this one because we have the height or elevation data, but the hardware side is important to connect some electrical devices to lift it up and down at the right moment.
Yeah, basically the customer wanted to use our GPS to do a kind of mapping of the levels. Not necessarily to drive the leveling blade, but to make a kind of analysis of what was the altitude in each part of the field. So I was asking you whether this data is going back up into the FMS system.
Yes, actually, it is something like the elevation data. For the moment, our product is not dealing with that, but as you said, the land leveler is. If every spot has been measured or calculated or recorded with the elevation, yes, you may have such a thing. For the time being, I have seen there are different types of shape files for that, and we can import it. if you need it, if you think that there is a market in that, we can discuss about this feature or this product too.
Right.
For the land leveler, we may have another meeting for that.
Right.
Is there any other demand or requirement in the market from other dealers?
Yeah, I have an old customer who has a CHC nav with a grader, and he uses the CHC nav height on their screen, and that works. So it might be an idea to see if they can bring that in as a usable measurement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other?
Well, often we have questions about the hydraulic version and how different it will be from the electric motor. So I don't know if you can say anything about that, or if that's too early to talk about
Yeah,
it.
it's too early. We haven't been introduced yet. They are still improving the product, and there are too many different products in the market as well.
Right.
For every different brand, they have been using different types of valves. So, but of course, if it is a retrofit kit, they're going to provide us some valve to fit it to the properly fitted to the tractor. I think they're going to introduce it in Q3, I mean quarter. So
Yeah.
we are going to discuss it later.
All right, yeah. We'll see that in due time. No rush.
Okay, let me continue with the hardware tab here. We can easily understand the whole issues when we check all these tabs actually. If there is something wrong, but here I would like to give you another details. For the other or previous versions, we did not have a 3-digit field. Now we can enter in millimeter level. It was in centimeter previously, but with this version, we have a millimeter level. You see, there are 3 digits in the field. So why it is important, especially to this one, central axis distance to GNSS antenna, sometimes 1 centimeter changes to left or right. So now we have a half centimeter option. Okay.
Have we plus or minus in the front? We have left or right on the...
No, we have the left or right
Oh,
option.
yeah, there. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
So that is the another thing. And let me continue from the menus here. And actually, in field management, we have the search bar for every field boundary guidance line areas too. And you can see the field name when you switch to other tab. You can see still the farm name or field name here. Also, you have, sorry, yes. As you see, batch delete is also possible now instead of deleting one by one.
Yes, one question from my end, and maybe it's also available on 3.1.6. How do you paste or connect together a straight line with a curved line, for example?
Okay, good.
Yes, that is actually a line group function. If you have not a straight or continuity in the lines, instead of creating one by one, you can use our conversion from task to guidance line function. You can see this one here. So if you create a task manually and record it, actually, for irregular shapes, then you need to, after recording the task, you need to convert this path or the task into line. But if you want to draw by yourself, then you need to refer, you cannot do it in this terminal, you need to refer to farm management system.
Yeah, but because I know to do the recording where you record and then you convert into a line. But that's what we are using in the vineyards, for example. But here, what I want to use is one straight line that we have done already and paste it and connect it to a curve line that is basically the end of the field. So one is super straight, one is not straight. And I want that to be one group of line. Is that feasible?
Well, we cannot do it in the terminal side, and but in reality, the people are creating these drawings depending on the coordinates, actually, and out of the terminal or any other software, and then import the line groups. So we cannot create an AB straight line automatically and then add some curve on it. We don't have such a function yet.
So, Dinzer, one suggestion. It would be very easy to implement. We also get this question very often. So if you set a pause button in the curve recording, we could combine curves and straight lines. So if we start recording a curve line, we drive away, we set pause, go to straight line, set pause end, and complete the line with the curve. And between pause 1 and pause 2, we create a straight line. In this way, CNH does solve it.
Okay, very good to hear it. Actually, the pause function is available when you press on the record button, you know.
Also in curve mode?
Yes, that's the missing link. We have it in the border recording, but we have not at curve recording.
Here, actually, if we are talking about not the guidance line, but the task and the conversion, we can create manually everything, right? But here, for instance, this is the first line. This is the straight, for instance. If you want a curve, you have to turn your steering wheel and record again. Is this the one you would like to say?
No, I think it's too difficult. Keep it simple. So if you could set the pause button like it is in the boundary recording, in the same way in the curve recording, we could solve it very easy.
Okay. Okay, I'm taking my note and we are going to discuss together again about the function.
So in the praxis, it's very often the question. We have two straight lines in different angles, which are connected through a curve. So the tractor drives AB, then came the curves, and then came a second AB. And we have to create both three lines, the first straight, the curve, and the second straight, to one line we can use for driving.
Okay, it is something like we can have the function here, the red area and the blue area. We can think like that, right? For instance,
yes, but it's a very complicated example. So I think it
it's smooth and connect these two straight lines with a curve.
Yeah, you're correct, Vincent. That's what you want to have, a curve and a straight line connected.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have been recording this one and we are going to discuss with the Randy. Okay, we are going to feedback this and also get your comments later. Thank you for the feedback. So what we were going to do is the field management details here. So for the task, actually, as you see, if you choose the one task and if you press the edit, there is a new field called status. Either this task can be in progress or completed. So you can save it or which one is the proper or valid for you. So if it is completed, you can see such a tick. If it is still continuing, you will see such a clock icon, the orange one. Okay, this is the new one, because if you have many fields, you may need to know what happened in the fields or the task. We are going to use the system precisely within time, actually. This is another function. So we already discussed on this. Here, I would like to give you one thing. If you would like to open the tracking map, you can directly press on the satellite icon. And also, if it is a 4G or a Wi-Fi connection here, if you press on that, you'll have a diagnostic screen. So that means for the Wi-Fi, if there is some lagging delay on the GSM network or internet network, so we can follow up or check the status of the network here. Till now, we have been just discussing it might be because of that, or it is absolutely because of this. So now we can see this as a green value. It's okay. But if the value delay detection is over 200, it will become red. That means there might be some delays in the network. So data or the accuracy will be affected negatively here. Okay, now it's easy to do that. Even there are some countries need to enter the APN values. If I had a SIM card here inserted, we can set the APN directly here. Okay, it's easier now to enter.
Have you some automatically search for this function, or is well, here in Norway we have some we use.
I couldn't understand. Your voice is a little bit low. One more time, please, Perane.
This APN address. Can you have this in automatically search? Or
no, I'm yeah. It's searching, right. It's giving you some list, I think. Yeah. Okay. I remember like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, this is another one. The rest is not that functional. Okay. In this version, we have another option here. Actually, maybe you realized we can change the installation information, and we can add. Now, at the moment, if you register the system with a new email, you are the owner of this one. Later, you can add new users between specific times or guest. That means for the managers, not a farmers, can define this type of roles. So later, actually, if you would like to remove one, reset or log off, or later log out, even if you want to remove one system from the previously installed device and sell to other one, you can reset all the data in the server side as well. So you are so familiar, these two, and the farm management system as well. We have already introduced. previously. And now we have the GSA function added here for the NMA connection as a new. And we are going to introduce the radar speed, but there will be new harness needed for that, for the connection. And this is for the pulse output for the implement side. And the rest is, I think, is okay. And in night mode, we have a clear view, visible one, better, how it looks like from when you look at that. I think it's better now. Yes. Well, on the other hand, we can optimize the speed and especially the positioning of the vehicle. Tractor has been changed. That's why the accuracy is really better with this new version. And also, we can discuss a little bit about the implement library here. You know, we are talking about the skip and overlap. And that is the thing actually here. I want to show you this one, this area, but sometimes it is a little bit confusing. Now it's easy to understand. If you enter positive values, it means there will be a skip between rows. And if you enter negative values to the fields, and there will be an overlap. So it is given in the explanation question mark icon here. And also from
so the minus in the front, you have overlap, and
yes.
no mark, you have yeah, I understand.
That is overlap.
Yep. Correct.
And also I would like to share the release note for smart U-turn. We optimize the curvature of the H to reduce the unworked area. Left-hand side, the previous one, the right-hand side, the new release. And with the U-turn functionality, we have more flexible interactions. And it divides into two, closer to the tractor, so on. And also, if you start a new task, the system will ask the driver if there is previously unfinished area, if they are going to plan a new route or they are going to continue with the other planning. So it's something like that. Do you want to ignore the work part of the current task and plan routes? If you say yes, it will clear. If you say cancel or press cancel, choose the cancel, it will continue. In the diagnostic center, we have more data to collect. And also that part gives us the same, the diagnostic network diagnostic directly in the scenario tab here as a millisecond, green or red. So we will also understand easily. And previously there was some problems when we create the same client with the same name and the same field name and the boundary name, for instance. Now, if the client is one having farms, farm 1 and farm 2, they may have the same name with the fields and the task and the boundary names. There will be no problem. We were not creating, we couldn't create same names with the different farms actually. Now it is possible to create the same name. Even we improved the synchronization logic. It's optimized.
Sorry, Ginger. How
Yes.
where do you select or create farm 1 and farm 2?
Actually here, when we go to the field management, it is stored under field management here. If you choose this one and edit, you see the client name, farm name, and the field name. Actually, those ones bounded to farm management system, it's more logical.
Okay, got
It
it.
is stored like that here because the only needed on the terminal side is the field.
All right. Yeah, cool.
Okay. And also, we improved the uploading speeds. And demo mode cannot store in the cloud if you create something. And also that is so important was the manual intervention here. Let me was saying. Demo mode. Yeah, you cannot use it in demo. Okay, just a second. Closed. And in manual intervention, we have more functions or availability. In the previous version, we have only sensitivity, but now, actually, it's not activating. That's why this is better. Okay, it's not after. If this is not working, no, I'm going to show you from this
For
one.
this manual mode, Ginger, I always say that it's only used for safety reasons, but shouldn't be used at every end of field.
Yes, we haven't discussed that, Philippe, but now we have another approach here, actually. In the previous version or current versions, we have only one sensitivity, right?
Right.
But in this version, we can define the force and the timing separately.
So what does it mean?
Instead of trying to find a point, we can directly set a time for reacting to go to or switch to the manual mode, and how much force is needed. We can define both separately here. So that is more convenient, according to, because why we thought like that, because we couldn't manage to in two way. That function some of the time interrupted the auto mode by itself. And if the sensitivity is not set correctly, then it's not easy to stop the system. So now, with these settings, actually, it's easier to set up these things. If you like, you can continue saying that. You may try and see what happens. If it is convenient for you or reliable, then it's okay. Both are okay. We can open or close or activate it.
Dinser, what was the previous adjustment in the manual intervention?
There was only one sliding bar and saying the sensitivity. That's it.
Was the sensitivity changed in the previous release?
No, this is the new release function.
Yeah, but then since the previous release, I got more complaints that the tractor stops automatic steering. And I didn't have it before.
Yeah, that's why actually. But why it was like that? Because as if the ground forces acting like a driver, especially for hard conditions. So if the force are not high enough, then it means that there's a resistance, and directly realized by the system that somebody's holding the steering wheel and stops the auto mode or switch to the manual mode. That was the problem in that. Now the R&D team has changed that sensitivity bar into two different areas. The time is needed for that, not a specific moment.
It's very good, but I had the feeling that in the previous release, the sliding bar didn't make a big difference between left and right.
Yeah. Sometimes, yes.
That's true.
Now it's, I think, my feeling, I haven't tried yet on the field by myself, but we can see. I agree, Philip, somehow about this one. It was not a good experience with the farmers in the previous time, and instead of having a headache, it's easier or correct to say that this is the one for security reasons.
Yeah, what I say to the farmer, it's only if you have let's say a big pole in the middle of your field, and in the middle of the night you quickly touch the steering wheel so it deactivates, but it shouldn't be used at the end of every single row. That's what I used to say. Now,
well, after the upgrading, I think we are going to test it at least and feedback on this feature too. If it is functioning well or not, we will see together.
Right.
Yeah. So the other thing is the one line grouping. I already explained all of these things. Data transfer. Also, if the transferred data is a little bit large, now we are able to transfer this one or compatible shape files. There were different shape files, and we are now ready for the more types of the shape files.
Yes. So we can upload now the line groups.
Yes. Line group also can be transferred.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Welcome. On the other hand, if there is something different, I'm just checking the notes here. Yes, I think it's okay. We have these features, new features with the new version. And do you have any questions? You may divert now, and we can discuss.
No, I think
like.
I have something to put on your wish list, Dinser.
Yes, please.
I hear some customers, it's not a big problem, but I hear some customers who want to have the correct field, the closest field on top of the list when they enter an area. So we know where the fields are. And when we need to choose the field, it would be easy for them to have the right field on top of the list.
Can we call it automatic field recognition?
Yeah,
okay. I already feedback that, but
I don't know if it's easy or not. I really don't know.
Everything is easy, I think, for the R&D team. If they finished such a version, they are going to finish that too.
Yes, I would like to underline this wish. We have very similar questions of customers. In Austrian areas, we have many farms with small structures and many fields. So for imagination, if you're a farmer and have more than 100 fields, and you have 1 or 2 employers, it's very difficult to show them where is the field and how it is named. So if the driver is on the field or next to the field and could easily take the nearest, he would find it very easy.
So the sorting of the fields should be the nearest or automatically recognize where the tractor is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, okay. We already feedback that. Yeah, we discussed, we are aware. So if this demand or request is going to higher level, then we can escalate this demand. Okay.
It's something that is in the Trimble system. When you come in the field, it shows you the right field.
Yes, you're right. So everybody wants to be a Mercedes immediately.
Yeah, of course.
For the price of a cheap one, of course.
I always call ourselves as a Volkswagen, not a Mercedes. Okay, we are going to be soon a Mercedes. Okay, got it. Well, the feedbacks are so important because the end users are also asking about that. So we have to reply their requests. At the moment, actually, the better accuracy, more precise results, and higher compatibility, and especially for the isobus functionality. That is the important with this version.